Hello Trailblazers, Eon here, and today I bring you a basic and quick guide on how to play with our best Stellaron Hunter, Blade. This is my first time doing a video guide, and actually it's my first time talking in English in a video for more than 30 seconds. Let's see how this goes. Now, I know that this decision it might be a difficult one, if not the most complicated decision of your life. Kafka or Blade. You need to decide. But this is exactly what this video is for. Today I bring you a complete guide and why Blade is one of the strongest destruction units in the game. We will prioritize his kits, Eidolons, Relics, LightCones, and his team's composition. But without further ado, let's begin. Now I need to make this comment now because I'm probably going to keep bringing it up in the video. If you are going to pull for our emo mysterious character, you are going to notice something really familiar. He literally had the same mechanic and it's an absolute beast like our funeral parlor. So if you already know how Huta works, then you have a very good idea on how Blade works. Blade abilities scale off both his max HP and attack to deal heavy damage, while a strong Blade build will have a high max HP stats to improve his damage. And before starting to explain his kit, you need to understand that all his playstyle consumes a portion of his health, making him a high-risk, high-reward character. The exact reason why he needs a healer instead of a shielder, but more of that in the team section. As I said, his skill devoured 30% of his HP and now you'll enter a hellscape state. When this effect is active, his skill cannot be used. His damage will be highly increased and the most important thing is his normal attack is going to change completely to the Forest of Swords for 3 turns. And just to be clear, if you are already low health, his HP will be reduced to 1 HP when he uses his skill. So you cannot die for your skill. Also, this skill does not regenerate energy and will not end the current turn, so you can follow up with one more powerful basic attack. This really opens up a lot of possibilities for his teams. Now, when I was reading his skill, the benefits didn't catch my attention honestly. That was until I see the talent. When Blade receives damage or consumes his HP, he gains 1 stack of charge, stacking up to 5 times. He can only get 1 charge every time he is attacked or every time he deals damage to himself. When the charge stacks reaches maximum, immediately launches a follow-up attack on one enemy, dealing wind damage based on Blade's attack and his max HP. At the same time, restores Blade's HP by 25% of his max HP. But Eon, does that talent is even worth the trouble? Yep. And if you want to level up his talent, then you can unlock the Cyclone of Destruction trace, making his follow-up attack increases by 20%. And now that's a scary number. He has 2 different basic attacks, one being the Shard Sword, dealing wind damage to a single target enemy. Nothing too special. The other one needs to be triggered by his skill, the Forest of Swords. It will consume 10% of your HP and deal wind damage equal to the sum of a percentage of your attack and your HP to a single enemy, also covering adjacent targets. And last but not least, Blade's Ultimate. Sets Blade's current HP to 50% and deals a single enemy attack equal to the sum of a percentage of his attack and max HP, and a total of his HP lost in the current battle. The other choices will help you to keep your blade with a decent amount of HP, just as Vita Infinita will increase your incoming healing by 20% when the current blade's HP is lower than 50%. And Never-Ending Deaths, it will restore your HP equal to 5% of his max HP, plus 100 every time Blade hits a weakness broken enemy after using 4 swords. And now you can see how all the abilities of Blade can complement each other, making him a more stable, but still a healer dependent unit. For his trace priorities, the best thing to level up first is his talent. Follow up for his skill to buff damage, normal attack because most of the time that's going to be your only output damage, and his ultimate. Now a large portion of Blade's damage comes from his talent. And now of course, it really depends how you play with him and if you get lucky enough to get hit constantly. Blade is already a monster at its 0, so please do not feel pressure to pull for his Eidolons. But if you really want to pull, then let's check them. His E1 makes his ultimate deals 150% of Blade's total HP loss to a single target. Honestly, this is the one that I recommend you to stop, since now you can totally take advantage of your ult and build into it. His E2 gives 50% additional crit rate every time Blade enters into the Hellscape state. His E3 and E5 increases the levels of his ultimate, talent, skills, and basic attacks. His E4 increases max HP by 20% every time his current health drops by 50% or lower. His E6 reduces his maximum number of charges to 4. Increases the follow-up attack by 50% of his max HP, making his already broken talent, well, more busted. Now let's take a quick look at Blade's relics stats and set builds. And as you can see on every piece of his kit, in order to maximize his damage, we need to maximize his HP. So for his chest piece, crit rate will be the best option until you can reach a maximum of 70% to proc his Rutilant Arena normal attack buff. Also remember that you can have a lot of ways to gain more crit rate between his passive abilities and other external buffs. For his boot section, HP or attack can be excellent choices. And if you want to have more turns, speed can be reliable too, although there are different characters that can solve his speed problems, making you focus more on his damage. For the ornaments, with damage boost is no-brainer for any elemental DPS. And for his string, you can either choose HP or attack, depending on what you need the most. HP is for a more talent-based build, or attack for a more consistent damage output. For his substats, you are mainly looking for HP and crit. Attack and speed are welcome too for more turns. For the relics, look no further than the new Longevous Disciple set piece. It will cover all Blade's necessities and synergize perfectly with his playstyle. The 2-piece giving you HP percentage and the 4-piece boosting your crit rate every time he consumes his HP or if someone attacks him. Also, if you already have an Eagle of the Twilight set already farmed, you can totally use it, improving Blade's win damage by 10% and will advance forward their action by 25% after using their ultimate ability. For his planar ornaments, I really recommend the new Rutilant Arena set. It gives him crit rate for more damage and more importantly, when you reach 70% your normal attack will receive a generous boost for more Blade's overall damage output. More ornaments prior to 1.2 can be the Fleet of the Ageless. This might be more team focus ornament for the cost of Blade personal damage. There's also the inner set, which provides another source of crit rate and a generous buff to your talent follow-up attack and your ult. Moving on to his LightCones recommendations. Surprising to no one, his signature LightCone who buffs his edginess overall, it makes it very easy to meet his recommended stats, buffing the heck out of his crit rate and HP. And by simply playing and having him on the field, he will always have a huge amount of 24% damage buff all the time. But thankfully, there are still some great alternatives. Something irreplaceable is also a great alternative. It will provide a huge attack boost as well as a small amount of healing after taking damage or defeating enemies. Nowhere to Run featuring Blade himself will increase your attack and heal yourself whenever you defeat an enemy depending on your attack. Moreover, Collapsing Sky is a 3-star destruction LightCone that increases both basic attack damage and skill damage by 16%, while of course, this will struggle to beat Blade's signature LightCone, they will work if you don't have it. So, now that we got a pretty good understanding on how he works and how to best build him, let's go to his team compositions. The first thing that you notice when you have Blade in your team is that he is healer dependent. Right now in 1.2 there are limited options, but if you want to talk about his partner in crime, look no further than Lasha. Lasha has the perfect synergy with Blade like no other character. His talent heals him passively when he puts his Abyss Flower field, plus his emergency skill heal will enable a constant lifesteal playstyle that Blade will take advantage on. Overall, it's a no-brainer to pair these two monsters together. Moving on, the other preservation units, Natasha and Bailu, both being good alternatives. Bailu being his second best partner, as long as she can solo sustain and keep up with Blade's HP loss, you will be okay. And of course, if you can heal him, well, you can rest him. Natasha's heal might feel a little insufficient, but when you eventually reach A6 with her, you will unlock her trace that gives your skill one extra turn of healing. Combining that with his self-healing, it can be difficult to keep him alive, but not impossible. Now for preservation characters, try to avoid them. While they might add some resistance and survivability to all your characters, that's exactly the only thing you don't need for Orimo Boy. Shielders like Gepard and March really don't work with Blade, because first of all, Blade wants to get hit and characters like Gepard possibly make the enemies target him. Also, all preservation characters have a higher aggro from all monsters. A key component about Blade is that he needs to lose HP to deal damage, and Gepard big shields will make this really difficult. Gepard and March can freeze enemies that will delay their turn, which means enemies attack less, which of course is bad for our Blade. So now that you have a good idea on the support section, let's move on. Depending on the enemy resistance, you can't miss if you use Silver Wolf. Her weakness implant is just great, but that's just a portion of her kit. There's also so much value in her ult and basic attacks that makes her one of the best, if not the best, for the Annihility department. But now let's be realistic. If you don't have Silver Wolf, Bella is also an excellent choice if you don't have any premium characters at your disposal. And for your last character, it's actually a free slot. You can either have some support characters to maximize your blade's damage, or put some SP hungry characters to use them and have more ways to deal more damage. If you are planning on trying Harmony characters, let's just stop right there. There is just one character that it might help you. Bronya is perfect for him. Her playstyle synergizes perfectly with Blade since she's so skill point hungry and Blade only wastes 1 SP at the beginning of your rotation, also giving him extra turns that means that he can proc his follow-up attack faster, and increasing Blade's crit damage by 66% and cleansing him of any debuff. So, Bronya, it's no joke. For other options, I would recommend having a more DPS character like Scylla, Xingxue, Sushang, Danheng, or even Will. Now, this is a really unrealistic team comp, but really powerful for all the Blade mains out there. Blade, Lasha, Silverwolf, and Bronya, it's a really broken team. Every single member is working together to emphasize Blade's output damage, that it's just perfect. The reason why I call this team unrealistic is because that will require someone to have pull 4 and got the limited 5-star on 3 banners in a row. And let's be honest, only a handful of people can pull that off. You can make more affordable options like Blade, any preservation character, Pila, and Xingxue. Since no one really uses skill points in this team, you can use Xingxue there, and she gets to hog all of the points spamming skill without ever disrupting your other teammates. Anyway, that covers my 1.2 guide for Blade in Honkai Star Rail. If you enjoyed the video or learned something new about Blade, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Also, this was my first video guide I ever made in English, so please leave a comment if you like it or if I need to improve my English. Please tell me what you think of Blade, and if you are going to sim for him, just ask me. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in another one. Peace!